Right guys, this video is more going to be about some of the realisations that I found when I was going through counselling. They're just beautiful things that were good for me. So I'm going to take a break from doing the more directive ones that I've been doing up to now. And this is just going to be a bit of personal reflection about what helped me get through depression, social anxiety and things like that. So I'm going to keep it short. One of the biggest things I realised is that when you're born and in your early age, you are this. All right, this is what I learned about me. I'm this, and then different layers get put on top of this, you know, to get what I need in life, you know, almost like a mask that I would wear in order to be accepted in society, or to be liked by people, to be loved by parents, to appear clever, or to appear stupid, whatever suited the situation at the time, you know. And my journey through therapy was to remove those layers, to understand that some of those layers weren't really me. They're not really what makes me tick, honestly. And sometimes I'd be in situations and I'd find myself saying things to people, and I would actually know at the time and think, did I really mean that? Or did I just say that because that person would have appreciated it? So a lot of the time I spent living in other people's heads. You know, what was that person going to think? And then kind of editing what I would say in order to appeal to what I thought that person may be thinking. So now when I look back on it, I can realise how much of a fallacy that is. But at the time, I used to live like that because being a people pleaser meant that that is what I needed to do. Now that was because I'd lost touch with who I really am, thinking that who I really was or who I really am isn't okay. And that was my downfall. It was kind of what led to depression, I guess, because I realised that who am I? You know, I've lost my identity, I've got no idea where I'm going in life, I've got no confidence, I don't even think I can get anywhere in life. Every relationship that I get into goes tits up. You know, I'm trying to make things work, but I don't want to tell anyone about how I'm feeling because it sucks if everyone knows, and then I feel weak. And you know, it took me a long time. I was sort of 28 before I decided to reach out to someone and go to therapy. So I spent a lot of my sort of, you know, early years, teenage years and my 20s like really suffering with this sort of thing. And a lot of it was because I'd forgotten who I was. I lost who I was and become estranged from my real self. So part of my journey really was trying to understand that. I was trying to understand my emotions a bit better. Sort of becoming an observer of my own self. I quite often used to sort of facilitate in my head, I used to sort of facilitate a conversation where I'd sort of picture me in the therapy room, and what if I was sort of saying these problems, what do I think would be the best thing that I could say to myself in order to get over them? It was really useful for me actually, because I used to think, you know, some of the stuff I'm thinking is kind of, you know, it's way out there and it's never going to happen. And if it was one of my friends telling me that, I would certainly be trying to give them a bit of kinder advice than I was giving myself, which is, look, fucking shut up, you're stupid. Understanding, you know, this centre of myself was still a child, that I was kind of being driven as a sort of, say, 25-year-old adult by a 5-year-old mentality, made me realise that when I was struggling with things, when that child came up, when I felt nervous, when I felt shy, when I felt sad about something or wanted to back out of a situation, I was then giving myself grief about it. So that's not conducive to a child feeling better. It's not good for a child to be criticised, to be told they're wrong, to be punished for sort of feeling something, or being told that they shouldn't feel that, you know, you're not hungry, you can't be cold, all this sort of thing. And that's what I'm doing to myself all the time, like literally all the time. It's no wonder I felt so shit, because that was the type of internal dialogue that I had, and I would keep it away from everybody and I wouldn't want to tell anybody about it. And that poor little kid in me was suffering, and I didn't even know that part of me was even there. It was kind of like I was just being driven along by a force that I wasn't aware of. So one of the biggest things for me was starting to get back to that. It was starting to peel back the layers. It was starting to be completely honest with myself about, you know, when I'm out with my mates and, you know, we're all being leery and everything, like I said in my first video, I weren't really like that. It's not really me, you know. I like having a laugh, don't get me wrong. I love a bit of a banter and a bit of a joke and stuff. But there's levels of that, and I used to be involved in situations that were way beyond where I really wanted to be with that type of thing. And so I felt uncomfortable, but never wanted to admit it. And then I felt like I was selling myself out because I was doing things just to please other people and not please myself. And kind of dropping that, and you know, getting to my late 20s and realising that, do you know what, man, I ain't really into all this sort of stuff, was quite a revelation for me. I think obviously a lot of people around me struggled to understand me, because they were like, well, wait a minute, I thought you was into that sort of thing. And I was like, no, not really, mate. Like, I'm doing a bit of soul searching here, you know. I took a lot of time out. I spent a lot of time, you know, when I went for counselling. She was very big into kind of meditating and stuff, and I didn't really want to pick that up. I kind of felt of it as being a bit sort of airy-fairy and a bit fucking wishy-washy. But I used to go, yeah, I'll do it, you know, and then sort of go away and not do it. One day, the counsellor that I was seeing, Joy, she was brilliant counsellor. And I knew that the main part that was missing was my effort. I wasn't putting enough effort into it. And after a couple of years, she said to me, I don't think I can help you. And to be honest, that was a turning point for me. It was thinking that shit, I know she's good. I've been recommended to her by other people that have made massive changes. And I just thought, fucking hell, like, who's going to help me then if you can't? And she said, you won't help yourself, so I can't help you. And it was then that I kind of really started to kind of adapt myself to what she was saying, because although I couldn't necessarily always get into exactly what she was saying, because it was a lot more spiritual than I was ready for at that point in my life. I kind of feel like I had to be softened up for that spirituality aspect of it. So, for example, when she taught me to meditate, that's when I, rather than sort of sitting there with my eyes closed and everything, which done my head in, I just couldn't do it. My thoughts were still racing. It was almost impossible. What I decided to do was try and do it with something that I kind of enjoyed. And I used to live down the seafront, so every day, no matter what the weather was like, if it was pissing down with rain or if it was sunny, whatever, I would go out and I would have a walk, and I would just try to only focus on what I was doing at that time, rather than it being about, you know, meditating, or she used to sort of say to me, you know, meditate on the word peace and things like that. It was more a case of I kind of learnt to appreciate the world around me. I did that I don't know how long, for months it took for me to do this. I also, like I mentioned in the first video, the bath with the candle and the flame, sort of trying to, you know, focus on things. And it was sort of that, getting to know myself, understanding it. Do you know what? There was one day actually when I had a book I was reading, and I really felt like I wanted to go down by the waves at the beach and read this book by there, and kind of try and really calm myself down, listen to the waves, read the book. And I caught myself going, hang on, what if someone walks along the top there and sees me? What are they going to think of me if I'm doing that? And it put me off. And I thought, no, like, I can't do that. What if someone sees me, they're going to take the right piss? They're going to be like, oh, they're texting their mates, you know, fucking hell, saw Mark, what a weirdo. I think he's turning into Harry Krishna or whatever it would be. So I carried on walking, and about, I don't know, a couple of minutes later, I thought to myself, hang on, sorry, my wife just come out and asked me something. I thought, hang on a minute, I'm going to do that. Even though I've got all that stuff going on in my head, that is genuinely what I want to do. That is really what I want to do. I want to go down by them waves and I want to read that book. So I did it. And I didn't give a toss who was walking behind me. I just ignored all that. And I really enjoyed that moment. I really enjoyed that moment. And then I thought, you know what? One of the other things that I want to do is walk out there. I want to walk out there. When the tide goes out, I want to walk out there. So I did that. I took my shoes off, waited for the tide to go out, walked out with it on my own, thinking, you know, beforehand, oh, that's really sad doing that on my own, you know, what the fuck, who does that? That's a weirdo thing to do. But no, that was my genuine desire to do it, so I did it. And those types of things really helped me to get into that inner child, that real desire that I had to do something, that was something that in the back of my mind I would stop myself from doing because of what other people thought. I would get into their heads, I would imagine what they're thinking, I'd imagine what they're feeling about it, and then modify it and edit it in order to appease them. And it was a part of my journey. Now, obviously, I went to therapy for 4 years. This video is 8 minutes, so I can't get into everything in one hit. But I'm gonna do more of these. I've got to go now because that's why I was just distracted, because I said I'd only be out here 10 minutes. I've been out 25 minutes, and we're supposed to be going out. So I'm going to shoot now. But stay tuned for another one of these. All right. I don't know if this one's helped or not. But anyway, if it has, then brilliant. And if it hasn't, then stay tuned and I'll do some more. Cheers.